Xiaomi's Mi Mix 3 is a unique smartphone with a slider mechanism and dual front cameras. On the other hand, the Oppo R17 Pro is no slouch when it comes to its triple camera primary setup. But based on price and performance, which phone comes out on top in a camera comparison? First off, let's start with a basic photo like this one. The more saturated look from the Mi Mix 3 is pleasing to the eye. It brings out the colors of the sky and the tree better, making the Oppo R17 Pro look paler. But I think between these two, the choice is down to personal preference. Now, here's a look at a typical photo of the skyline in Sharjah. Both phones' photo samples are indistinguishable and it's really hard to point out a clear winner. But I took this because I wanted to test the zoom capabilities of both of these smartphones. At 2x zoom, there is a bit more sharpness to the Mi Mix 3 photo than the Oppo R17 Pro, but it's nothing major. But at 10x zoom, you really start to see the superiority of the Mi Mix 3 over that of the Oppo R17 Pro. The Oppo loses a lot of detail which the Mi Mix 3 retains for a much better and sharper photo. In a more general photo, once again, it looks like the Mi Mix 3 has the slightly saturated colors. So this is starting to become a trend so far. Normally you'd see a big difference in color profiles, but I think between these two phones, they follow very similar ones, and the only difference we've seen so far is with the zooming capabilities of both of these phones. To test macro samples, I took this image of a flower. Between both the images, there's nothing much to show apart from the shallower depth of field that the Mi Mix 3 brings by blurring the purple flower behind the white one. But this gave me a good chance to test the AI on both the phones, where the enhancement is bigger on the Mi Mix 3. The Oppo R17 Pro photo sample looks unchanged over the slightly brighter Mi Mix 3 sample. The first major difference between the two phones comes with its front cameras. Here, the Mi Mix 3 has the more saturated look over the Oppo R17 Pro, whose photo is a bit duller, but certainly not bad. Detailing from either phone is great, and with portrait mode, once again, it's really hard to falter either phone. Both have managed good detail in the foreground as well as in the background blur, but the Mi Mix is doing better here because of its dedicated dual cameras to better sense depth over the R17 Pro, where the edges are less pronounced over my shoulder area. And at this stage though, moving into nighttime shots, a comparison of this sort has never been closer. In this photo, the Mi Mix 3 clearly shows its superiority. The sharpness and detail from the camera is impressive over the Oppo R17 Pro, but with the both phones having night modes, you get a much more level playing field. The software processing on the Oppo does wonders with detailing, but is a bit off in terms of colors. The Mi Mix 3 is equally good and keeps the colors accurate. But in this sample, for instance, the Mi Mix 3 is worse off than the Oppo. The photo from the R17 Pro has the better sharpness and dynamic range seen from the mosque in the background. And using night mode in this case, once again, both phones are equally as good. We do see a bit of over sharpening from the Oppo, especially near the chairs, whereas the Mi Mix 3 keeps the photo looking natural. I thought this picture of the playground would be an interesting one to compare to. With the regular modes, I do think the Oppo R17 Pro is slightly better off and looks more like a natural photo. But with the night mode, the Mi Mix 3 is leaps and bounds ahead of the R17 Pro, which seems to struggle a lot with direct light coming towards the camera sensor. The consistency from the Mi Mix 3 with night mode has been really impressive through this comparison. But where it struggles is with its low light selfies. In this case, I think the Oppo R17 Pro is better, but when using portrait mode, the Mi Mix 3 comes through with its dual cameras and depth sensing despite the picture being grainy. The R17 Pro in this case is a blurry sample, and an ideal photo would be a combination between the R17 Pro's quality and the Mi Mix 3's edge detection. Switching to video modes on both phones, the Full HD quality video from the Oppo R17 Pro is much better than the subdued colors of the Mi Mix 3. The Mi Mix 3 though has the more stable video. With regards to 4K video, it is the same story once again. The Oppo R17 Pro has the better quality, whereas the Mi Mix 3 is the one with better stabilization. Here's a look at front-facing video footage from both of these phones between the Oppo R17 Pro and the Mi Mix 3 from Xiaomi. You can judge the video quality as well as the audio quality from these two samples and make a judgment on whether these two phones would be a good companion for vlogging or not. So that's about it for this comparison. Let us know which phone you prefer down in the comments below and why. Make sure to subscribe for more videos in the future, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.